Hello, hello, hello from my sunny car. I don't even know. I need an intro or something for these. I just feel really weird. How do I start? This is not my vlog for today. This is just a short little, I'm driving and have something to say. So here we are. So you guys know by now, hopefully you know by now, that my raison d'etre for academia, getting my PhD, for being in grad school, and all this sort of stuff is Ernest Hemingway. And I don't know why traffic is awful right now. I don't know if any of you are like really familiar with Ernest Hemingway. If you've read any of his novels or short stories, if you've read any of his nonfiction. But even if you don't know Hemingway's work on a personal level, that you've interacted with it, you probably know things about Ernest Hemingway, or, I mean, if we want to be honest, you probably think you know things about Ernest Hemingway. A lot of people think they know things about Ernest Hemingway. I am never going to be able to get over. This is absolutely ridiculous. But one thing that a lot of people do not know about Ernest Hemingway, something that, despite the fact I was interested and enjoyed Hemingway for a very long time before I made him the central focus of my studies, one thing that remains kind of a mystery out there is that Ernest Hemingway wrote poetry. Probably the reason this has remained a secret and a mystery and a little hidden fact is because Ernest Hemingway wrote god-awful poetry, okay? The man could write a short story like nobody's business. The man wrote some of the best imagery and dialogue in American literature, hands down. Very few people will argue those points with you. Likewise, no one in their right mind is going to sit down and tell you that Ernest Hemingway was a good poet, or that the very small number of poems that he produced are any good. Off the top of my head, I believe that his total number of poems, as I rounded the corner, the total number of poems that he published within his life, the total number of poems that are available now for people to read is under 90. I believe it is 88. I could be wrong. The sun is here and blinding you guys. So there aren't many of the poems, and the poems are not that good. However, there are a couple that are excellent. There's probably like 5 poems from his poetry that I personally think are fantastic. And one of my favorites, I'd have to go back and find out exactly when this one was published or written, but it was early 20th century. Most of his poems were written pre-1930. But this particular poem, I can't even block out the light anymore, is called The Age Demanded. And if you are familiar with Hemingway at all, if you're familiar with anything about that time period, you will know that Hemingway is very well known for, and I'm turning, so time out. All right. Ernest Hemingway is really well known for his time spent in Paris as an expatriate, and jazz age, 1920s kind of stuff. So this poem, if you think about everything you know about early 20th century history, America specifically, the teens, the 20s, the 30s, what was being heralded as kind of the norm or what people should be doing. This poem really speaks against that and kind of just, in my mind, exemplifies Ernest Hemingway's attitude. And it's a short poem, so I'm going to recite it. I'm not a poet. I'm not a person who recites poetry. But I'm going to turn down my parents' street here, and then I'm gonna recite it. So 1 second. Okay, now we're back in the sunshine. So the poem is called The Age Demanded, and it goes as follows. The age demanded that we sing and cut away our tongues. The age demanded that we flow and hammered in the bungs. The age demanded that we dance and jammed us into iron pants. And in the end, the age was handed the sort of shit that it demanded. And I just love it. Sometimes that poem just comes through my mind, and it's even true now, you know. Society asks us things. Society and culture asks things of us and demands things of us, and then makes it virtually impossible for us to do the things that it is requiring of us or asking of us. And I think the reason that I like this poem is because, you know, here's Ernest Hemingway, early 20th century, basically telling society, fuck you. I ain't gonna do it. You're trying to force me into this box, and then you're making it impossible to function that way. So I'm gonna give you a big one of these. So anyways, I'm gonna stop. I'm at my parents' house. I'm picking up my kid. I will upload this, but I am going to make a real vlog tonight, even though this one ends up being like 7 minutes long. So I will catch you guys later, and if you enjoyed this poem, let me know. Maybe I will talk about a couple of the other poems of Hemingway's that I do like. I wrote a paper on one. I presented a paper on one. So for now, peace, love, and marshmallows. And I'll see you guys later.